All right, so we are diving into AFCON, the Africa Cup of Nations, and we're going to preview every single group, all the excitement, all the potential upsets, and the teams to watch.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how it all plays out. There's just so many storylines to follow. Morocco trying to win at home, Senegal defending their title.
Exactly so. Whether you're a hardcore fan who watches every single AFCON or you're just getting into it, get ready for some amazing football. Let's start with Group A, Morocco, Mali, Zambia, and Comoros. We got to talk about Morocco. That World Cup run was incredible, making it all the way to the semifinals. That's huge for African football.
Absolutely. I think that World Cup performance, it really put them on the map. And now they have a chance to shine at home. They have players like Ziyech, Hakimi, who can create those magic moments. And tactically, they're very well organized, a very strong defense, and they're so dangerous on the counterattack.
Okay. Bazuma for Marvel, another player to watch. He's been so good in the Premier League with Tottenham. Do you think he can bring that same energy to AFCON?
I think he's a key player for them. That ability to win the ball in midfield and then launch those quick attacks, he's going to be crucial. If he can control the tempo, distribute the ball well, I think Mali has a chance. But defensively, they're going to have to really tighten up.
Zambia, a team with a history of defying expectations. That 2012 AFCON win. Do you think they could be a dark horse again this time around?
It was such an inspiring win.
Yeah.
I mean, they showed anything is possible in this tournament. They might not have that same star power this time. They have experience. They have a knack for, rise to the occasion. And then Comoros, second appearance at AFCON. It'll be interesting to see how they adapt to the pressure of playing against these teams with much more experience.
Okay, so Group A, battle between Morocco's star power and Mali's potential. And Zambia is always lurking as a spoiler. Let's move on to Group B, Egypt, South Africa, Angola, Zimbabwe. We have to start with Egypt. 7-time champions, led by the one and only Mo Salah.
Yeah. Egypt, always a force to be reckoned with at AFCON. Their history speaks for itself. But what I think is interesting about this Egyptian team, it's that. They're not just relying on Salah's brilliance. They've developed a more cohesive unit, a solid defense, and a tactical approach that really emphasizes ball possession.
South Africa, another team that has won it all back in 1996. Think they can recapture that magic?
South Africa has been on a bit of a roller coaster ride in recent years. They have these moments of brilliance, but they also struggle with consistency. What's interesting about them, though, is their physicality and their tactical discipline. They can frustrate opponents, even those really talented teams.
I'm curious about Angola. They've got a reputation for playing this really exciting, fast-paced style of football. Could they be the surprise package of Group B?
Angola is definitely a team that can light up the scoreboard. They love to attack, and those quick transitions can catch teams off guard, but they can also be vulnerable defensively, and they'll need to find that balance. If they want to compete with Egypt and South Africa, Zimbabwe unfortunately comes in as the underdog here. They're going to need a Herculean effort to advance.
Group B, an interesting mix of established powers like Egypt and South Africa, and potential disruptors like Angola. Let's move on to Group C, Nigeria, Tunisia, South Sudan, and Tanzania. This group has some firepower. We have to talk about Victor Osimhen, one of the best strikers in the world right now, leading the line for Nigeria.
Osimhen, phenomenal talent. His goal-scoring record speaks for itself, and he just keeps getting better. But what makes Nigeria truly dangerous is they have this supporting cast of players who can create chances for him. They're not a one-man show. It's an offensive juggernaut.
Tunisia, a team you can never overlook at AFCON. Reputation for being tactically astute, defensively solid. How do you see them matching up against Nigeria?
Tunisia is a masterclass in tactical discipline, incredibly well organized. Very few mistakes. They just frustrate opponents, disrupt their rhythm, and capitalize on any errors. They're not the flashiest team, but they are effective.
And then you have South Sudan making their AFCON debut. What a moment for them. What should we expect from the newcomers?
Always exciting to see a team make their debut. They'll be coming in with a lot of energy, a lot of enthusiasm, eager to prove themselves. They're likely underdogs in this group, but I think they could surprise some people with their passion and their determination. Tanzania is a bit more of a wild card, capable of both brilliant moments and costly mistakes.
So Group C feels like a real clash of styles. Nigeria's attacking flair versus Tunisia's tactical discipline. Should be fun to watch. All right, let's dive into Group D, Senegal, DR Congo, Guinea, Botswana. Senegal's back to defend their title. They got a loaded team. Sadio Mane is back.
Yeah, their victory in 2021, a historic moment for them, and they'll be determined to prove it wasn't a fluke. I mean, they have a fantastic blend of experience, youth, individual brilliance. They're the team to beat in this group.
DR Congo, Some exciting players. Cedric Bakambu, leading the line. Think they can make a deep run.
Bukambu, proven goal scorer,
Ugh.
player who can change the game in an instant. DR Congo does have the potential to cause some upsets, but they need to find consistency if they really want to challenge Senegal.
What about Guinea? They've been quietly improving over the last few years. What kind of threat do they pose?
Guinea is definitely a team on the rise. Got a solid core of players. They're starting to believe in themselves. I think they could be a dark horse in this group, capable of picking up points against anyone. Botswana faces an uphill battle. Clear underdogs here, but they'll be looking to make a statement.
All right. Group D, defending champs. Some dangerous underdogs. And a rising force in Guinea, okay? Onto Group E, Algeria. Guinea-Bissau. Burkina Faso. Sudan. All right. Algeria. Riyad Mahrez, one of the most talented players in Africa. But they had a bit of a disappointing tournament last time around.
Yeah, their early exit in 2021, it was a shock to many. They have the quality to win it all, but they need to find a way to perform under pressure. Can't afford to have any off days.
Don't sleep on Burkina Faso. Always a tough team to beat. What makes them such a difficult opponent?
Burkina Faso is a team that embodies the spirit of AFCON. Physical, passionate, they never give up. Might not have the star power as some of the other teams, but they make up for it with incredible work rate and their organization.
What about Guinea-Bissau and Sudan? Are they contenders in this group?
I think both teams are capable of causing upsets on their day, full of energy, enthusiasm, and they want to make a name for themselves. But they do face a tough task in a group with two of Africa's most talented teams.
So, Group E wide open. Algeria looking to redeem themselves. Burkina Faso ready to cause more upsets. And you have those two potential dark horses in Guinea-Bissau and Sudan. Finally. Let's wrap things up with Group F, Ivory Coast. Cameroon, Cape Verde, Mozambique. This one looks like a thriller.
Yeah, Group F, loaded with talent and intrigue. You have Ivory Coast and Cameroon, two of Africa's most storied teams. You have a potential dark horse in Cape Verde, and Mozambique, who's eager to make a splash. This is going to be fun to watch.
Ivory Coast. Seems like they always have a team capable of winning it all, but they can be inconsistent. What do they need to do to live up to their potential?
Ivory Coast has all the ingredients for success. World-class players in every position. They play an attractive attacking style of football. But the key for them is going to be consistency, avoiding those mental lapses that have cost them in the past.
Cameroon, five-time champs, looking to recapture their former glory. Can they do it?
Cameroon, a team that's steeped in AFCON history. Winning mentality, they know what it takes to succeed at this level. Might not be the favorites this time, but you can never count them out.
Cape Verde, a team that always seems to fly under the radar, but capable of pulling off some upsets. Could they be the surprise package in this group?
Cape Verde is a team that plays with a lot of heart, a lot of determination. They're well organized, tactically disciplined, and not afraid of anyone. They could be a real threat, especially if they catch the bigger teams off guard.
And then Mozambique, making their return to AFCON. After a long absence, what are their chances?
They are coming in as the underdog, but they're going to be determined to make the most of this opportunity, looking to gain experience, test themselves against the best, and show the world what Mozambican football is all about.
Okay. Group F, blend of experience, talent, unpredictability. It's going to be a good one.
Anyone's game Group F really is. It's exciting to see so much parity in the tournament this year. We've gone through all the groups now, and I think it's safe to say we're in for an incredible AFCON.
Yeah.
Before we get too carried away with the excitement, let's take a step back and consider who we think the top contenders are for the tournament.
Yeah. All right, let's get down to it. Give us your picks to lift the trophy. Predictions time.
Okay. Based on what we've seen in recent matches, squad depth, historical performance, I'd say Morocco, Senegal, Egypt, and Nigeria. Those are your front runners. They have the experience, the talent, the tactical nous to go all the way to the training.
Those are some powerhouse teams. But we've talked about some potential dark horses, too. Teams that might not be on everyone's radar, but could make a serious run. Who are you keeping an eye on?
There are a few teams that I think could really shake things up. Burkina Faso is always a tough opponent. And that counter-attacking style, lethal against anyone. I wouldn't be surprised to see them reach the latter stages. Cape Verde also has that giant killing potential. They really have a knack for those upsets. And then there's Mali. If Vizuma can control that midfield and the defense holds up, they could be a real surprise package.
It's so exciting to think about all the potential storylines. Morocco winning it at home, Senegal defending their title, Egypt with Mo Salah looking for some redemption. But beyond those big narratives, are there any specific matchups or individual battles that you're excited about?
One matchup I'm really looking forward to is the potential clash between Morocco and Egypt, two of the most talented and tactically astute teams in Africa. Their games are always intense, unpredictable. It'd be a rematch of that 2021 quarterfinal, which Morocco won. So there's definitely some history there.
Yeah, that'll be a clash of the Titans. Anything else?
I'm curious to see how Sadio Mane performs for Senegal. Coming back from that injury, there's always a question mark over how players will perform after a layoff like that. But Mane, he's a world-class talent. If he's at his best, he could single-handedly lead them to another title. I think his performances, they're going to be crucial for Senegal's chances.
It's amazing to think about the impact that a single player can have on a team's fortunes, especially in a tournament like AFCON. Anything else we should be paying attention to? Any tactical trends? Emerging styles of play?
One trend that I've observed is the increasing emphasis on pressing high and winning the ball back quickly. More teams are adopting that aggressive front foot approach, looking to disrupt the opponent's buildup and create turnovers in dangerous areas. It's been a really effective tactic for teams like Morocco and Nigeria. I think we'll see more teams try to implement it.
Makes sense. The game's constantly evolving. It's fascinating to see these tactical innovations. But beyond the tactics and the individual brilliance, there's something special about AFCON that goes beyond the football itself.
Absolutely. It's more than just a football tournament. It's the celebration of African culture, a display of national pride, a platform for these incredible athletes to showcase their talent, the passion, the energy, the camaraderie. It's an experience unlike anything else in world football.
I couldn't agree more. That sense of unity, shared passion, makes AFCON so captivating. It transcends sport, brings people together from all over the continent. And for a lot of these players, it's the pinnacle of their careers. They're not just playing for themselves, they're playing for their families, their communities, their entire nations.
Yeah, the weighted history, the hopes and dreams of millions of fans, it all comes together on the pitch. And it's not just about the glory of winning. It's about representing your country with pride and passion.
I love that. Something bigger than just the game itself. Identity, belonging, the spirit of Africa. Before we move on, wanted to touch on the impact of this new generation of African players. We're seeing so many talented young stars emerging from all corners of the continent. Osimhen, Hakimi, Bazuma. They're not just competing at the highest level, they're changing the game.
Yeah, this new generation is truly special. Technically gifted, tactically astute, and they're fearless, not afraid to take on the best players in the world. And they're proving that African football is a force to be reckoned with.
What do you think their legacy will be? What kind of impact will they have on the future of African football?
I think it's going to be one of inspiration and ambition. They're showing young Africans that anything is possible. If you work hard and believe in yourself, they're raising the bar and inspiring a new generation to dream big.
It's exciting to think about the possibilities. African football is on the rise, and these young players are leading the charge. All right. I think we've covered a lot of ground. We previewed all 6 groups, identified the favorites and the dark horses, talked about the cultural significance of AFCON, and explored the impact of this new generation of players. But before we let our listener go, we need to leave them with something to ponder, a thought-provoking question. That will stay with them long after this deep dive is over.
Okay, that's a great challenge. I think the question I'd like to pose is, how will AFCON continue to evolve and adapt in the years to come? The game is constantly changing, and African football is at the forefront of that evolution. What new innovations, what new stars, what new stories will emerge from this tournament and shape the future of African football?
Yeah, that is a great question to end on. You know, one thing that always gets me about AFCON is the atmosphere. The stadiums are electric. The fans are so passionate. The drumming, the singing. It's just a sensory overload.
Yeah.
In the best way possible.
It's true. The atmosphere is unlike anything else. You can feel the energy, the excitement, the tension. It's like the whole continent is holding its breath.
I can only imagine to be out there on the pitch,
All right.
representing your country, with millions of people watching you.
It's exhilarating, but it can be daunting too.
And it's not just about the big-name stars either. AFCON has this history of showcasing hidden gems, players who maybe aren't household names yet, but they have the potential to become superstars.
Yeah. It's a platform for them to shine, make a name for themselves, maybe catch the eye of some scouts from Europe. A strong performance at AFCON can change a player's life.
And for the fans, it's a chance to come together, celebrate their shared love of the game, show the world the beauty of African culture.
Yeah, it's a reminder of the unifying power of sport. It brings people together from all over the continent and creates a sense of community.
I think we've done a good job of getting our listener ready for AFCON. Talked about the favorites, the dark horses, the tactics, the culture, the future of the game. What else can we say?
I think we've covered it all. The only thing left to say is enjoy the tournament. Sit back, relax, let the magic of AFCON unfold.
I love it. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the Africa Cup of Nations.
It's been a pleasure.
And to our listener, we hope you enjoyed this journey as much as we did. Now go out there and embrace the beautiful game. We'll be back soon with another deep dive. Until then, stay curious, stay informed, and stay engaged.